Welcome, friends, to Portal to the Past. Time travel with picture book tales from Powell River Public Library and real local historical content from the Qathet Museum and Archives. This month's story is Watercress, and our subject will be Chinese history in Qathet.
Today's story will be read to you by Sonia Zagwyn from the Powell River Public Library. After the story, Joëlle Sévigny from the qathet Museum and Archives will discuss local Chinese history.
Watercress by Andrea Wang, with pictures by Jason Chin. Published by Neil Porter Books, Holiday House, New York. We are in the old Pontiac, the red paint faded by years of glinting Ohio sun, pelting rain, and biting snow. The tops of the cornstalks make lines that zigzag across the horizon. Mom shouts, "Look!" and the car comes to an abrupt, jerking stop. Mom's eyes are as sharp as the tip of a dragon's claw. Dad's eyes grow wide. "Watercress!" they exclaim, two voices heavy with memories. From the depths of the trunk, they unearth a brown paper bag, rusty scissors, and a longing for China. To be continued. We have only read a portion of this book for this portal to respect copyright. To finish the story, visit your local library to reserve and read a copy of the book, or follow the link in the video description to find out how you can invite Sonia and Joëlle into your classroom to deliver an interactive portal to the past.
Some of the very first recorded Chinese presence in BC dates to over 200 years ago in 1788, when 50 Chinese workers were hired on Vancouver Island at a trading post in Nootka Sound. However, it is the discovery of gold on the Fraser River in the 1850s that attracted many Chinese immigrants to settle here in British Columbia. Chinese workers also played a large role in building the Canadian Pacific Railway. It is estimated that over 17,000 Chinese laborers were employed for railway work between 1880 and 1885. Working conditions for Chinese Canadians were tough. They worked long shifts of hard manual labor and were paid much less than white workers. The difficult environment included rockfalls, landslides, and dynamite explosions, which took the lives of many workers. Chinese immigrants had to go through a lengthy and difficult trip of over 10,000 kilometers on ships that weren't very comfortable. When arriving to Canada, they also had to pay what was called a head tax to enter the country. At the head tax highest in 1903, it cost $500 per person to immigrate to Canada, the equivalent to $16,000 in today's world. This was a very large sum of money and a way for the government to discourage Chinese immigrants from coming to Canada. Locally, Chinese settlers began arriving in the Qathet region in the 1880s. In this photo from 1912, we see Chinese immigrants who were among the first to be hired to quarry limestone on Texada Island. Blubber Bay on Texada also had a significant Chinese community, which included a community center, a school, stables, a doctor's office, a general store, bunkhouses, and a restaurant. A large number of these individuals were employed at the Pacific Lime Company and BC Cement. In Powell River, one of the first Chinese immigrants was Sam Singh. He was also one of the first merchants. Sam Singh arrived in 1907 and set up a laundry business on what was called Waterfront Street. The location of the laundry is where the old Townside Golf Course was located. You can see the laundry building at the very center of this image. Not too long after, Sam built the first general store in Powell River in 1912, which also included a restaurant and a rooming house for construction workers. It was called the Singley Building, located on the site of the current Townsite Public Market. At the time, Townsite residents were discouraged by the Powell River Company from shopping at the Singley Building. This was a type of discrimination by the company. In 1923, the Powell River Company bought out the Singley Building and renamed it the Brooklyn Block after the founders of the mill. Sam relocated to the shingle mill site on Powell Lake and opened a new business in 1924. Through the years, Sam Singh and his family operated many successful businesses, including the general store, restaurant, steam laundry, and lodging at the shingle mill site on Powell Lake. Sam Singh also expanded his business to other parts of the region. In Wildwood, he had a produce business and a farm, and in Westview, the Penny Profit store, which operated until 1987. Some of the first Chinese Canadians in this region also worked in the shingle bolt industry. The McNair-Stillwater Shingle Company employed around 100 Chinese immigrants. There was also a camp of Chinese shingle bolt workers near Dodd Lake, which operated until 1942. And that's the end of the story for today. Stay tuned for more Portal to the Past stories in the future.